applications, transcripts, English report to a university. You will get first and recommendations you will require while lodging your application. In case a student is under 18, they need to give a 157M form for student guardian in Australia. Someone has to take responsibility. And a parental consent form for 1229 from their home country, which allows candidate to come even though he is minor. Another requirement from that is genuine temporary requirement, genuine temporary entry requirement actually. Most of the visas which I am seeing recently are rejected because they are not meeting this requirement. Now this requirement is a very broad aspect. Ministerial Directive 69 covers most of the aspects, and policy is straightforward and written for this, that shows that only genuine candidates who wish to stay here temporarily and after finishing their course, they will go back to their country, home country, can be given a student visa. To provide this temporary genuine temporary requirement, candidate, if he is working, need to provide proof of employment, complete letter from employer, contracts, their curriculum vitae, those type of things. On top of that, if someone is student, his current education documents, academic transcripts, and his future course, future proof of course or enrollment is required. That along with his statement of purpose letter, that shows his reasons of intending to study in Australia. Along with that, he has to provide a reason that why he is choosing this course, why he cannot study the same course in his country, why he wants to study in Australia, because courses in Australia are more expensive than most of the other countries. So he needs to provide a genuine reason for all these things. Another thing required is his future career enhancement after completion of this type of courses. So if he is getting something out of his course, then his prospect of getting visa is more. If the course is just merely a time-filling one, or if the immigration officer realizes that this candidate is taking this course just to get a residency or just to get a usual residency, or just to then they are not genuine student and they won't be given a visa. Again, when we talk about visa grant, there are primary criteria as per those criteria need to be fulfilled by the primary applicant. If he cannot fulfill any of these criteria, he won't be granted a visa. So these might be given in rejection letters. These numbers are given there. So these numbers, you don't need to remember any of these numbers. Basically, I will just go through in just a brief so that you know a little bit about it. So for visa subclass 500, the primary requirement is, first requirement is 211. That is evidence of enrollment, which is theory that is given by your college or university, and it should be unconditional. Second is genuine temporary staying applicant. You need to provide all evidences that support that he will go back to his country and he is only a temporary resident and he wants to complete his study, of course. After that, he will go back to his country. That's why all the student visa applications attract two conditions, 8503 and another that suggests no further stay and no further visa application. So these things 485 graduate temporary graduate work visa that allows them to work and live in Australia for 18 months or for 2 years or 4 years, depending upon the course they complete. I will cover those things later in our presentation. Another thing required is English level. Australia is an English speaking country. If a student does not have a good English control, then he becomes a suspicious candidate. Why he is choosing Australia to complete his study if he don't have a good control in English? So English is a very important thing. I always suggest my candidates to get a good control in English or command in English language. They can do that by taking some extra coaching or classes before before taking examination for English proficiency and applying for admissions. Another requirement is genuine access of fund, genuine access to their funds. I've seen many candidates who apply for visa, show fund of their uncle, auntie or relatives, but they themselves don't have access to those funds. Now, this thing is very important because when you are not showing that you have a control of funds you are showing for your future study, clicks a red light in mind of officer. Now, he will see it alarming signal and he can refuse their application without giving any intimation, and most of students apply offshore, so they don't have any review right. Once application is rejected, it is rejected for forever. Like you can reapply for visa, but you cannot appeal it anywhere. Again, next thing required is your health insurance proof. So all candidates need to take insurance, health insurance. They have to maintain that health insurance for the time they are going to stay in Australia. So basically, you can buy yearly insurance and continue it until your visa ends. 500.16 is asking student's age. This criteria shows that any student less than under 5 years, under 6 years, cannot apply for student visa. I have seen many candidates here who are on different visa and they want their children to continue on student visa so that they can maintain their residency. When I ask child's age, they are sometimes 4 years or 5 years. Kindergarten. So they are not eligible candidates and they won't be granted any visa. Another basic requirement and very important requirement is public interest criteria that need to be seen. We cannot oversee them. These are like their crime records, their police clearance, have they provided any bogus documents or not, those type of things. They come under public interest criteria. And another is special return criteria that shows that if they have immigration history to one country, Australia or any other country, have they complied to all visa conditions, abided to all the requirements, and they want to return to this Australia or any other country as per the requirements of immigration. Another thing is very important is evidence of enrollments. Now, there is a new legislation changes. There are new legislative changes from this year that confines students from providing COEs. So some COEs are relevant, some are irrelevant. If a student wants to convert his course and he is providing a COE for, they have to provide COE for each course they are studying. Unacceptable COEs are those COEs they are trying same diploma courses from another institution without providing any reason that why they don't want to continue that course from this same institution they are taking visa for. Or second thing, a new COE of different diploma they are providing to the immigration department, suggesting that provider is in default. So if provider is in default, you can change the provider. You don't have to change the diploma. So these things need to be like, these are very minor things, but we have to check all these things because candidates, they come with new ideas and we need to check all these things before we continue with the applications. Now, financial evidence. Another thing which I have seen in my experience, previous experience, main reason for visa refusal is evidence of financial capacities. Most applicants they provide or demonstrate finance, but they don't provide all these documents are not in accordance to the guidelines provided by immigration department. Now, if candidate provides expenses, basic expenses they need to show is travel, living cost, Living cost is basically 21,000 Australian dollar, and secondary applicant is 1,362, like spouse over 18. For child, living expense is 3,152. All this adds up. If they have two child, then it goes to 6,000. And if child is going to school, then school fees is calculated at the rate of 8,496. So even though school fees is in Australia is from somewhere around 2,000 to 4,000 primary school, but immigration considers it above 8,000 because secondary school fees, like after year 6, most of the private institutions they charge more than 5,000, 6,000, from 6,000 up to 30,000 a year. So this is just the average. 8,296 is an average fee, school fees. Then if you have paid any fees, that will be minus, and rest of the fees you have to show in your finance. If somebody, any applicant showing their parents' ongoing income or salary as a financial capacity to pay the incurring fees, then the parent must be attracting annual salary of $62,000 Australian dollar. Or if a secondary applicant is in application like spouse, they need to show 72,592. Evidence of financial testing must be 3 months old. So if saving, if they are showing saving, and saving, their basic saving is 50 lakh rupees or about $100,000, but they have drawn considered as $80,000, not $100,000. Another thing is loan from a financial institution like bank. This is a good way to show your financial capacity. Other loans are government loans. Some candidates are eligible for government loan, or their parents are eligible to get government loan for their children. Scholarships or financial support is also considered if they have scholarships for higher studies. Now, package courses. New legislative changes shows that new applicants cannot take 2 COEs. So from now on, universities will not offer 2 COEs. They will get only 1 COE at a time. So this is just to circumvent people from coming, like somebody has taken a master's course to attract a visa, and then they have a second COE going for any diploma courses, and once they come here, they change it from master to diploma. Now, these type of things will be minimized in future. But package courses are still good. If somebody is weak in English, little bit weak, so they can go from LE course to diploma, and then to bachelor, and then to master. Maximum visa capacity, maximum years you can get a visa for is 6 years. You cannot get more than that. Then there are streamlined ways of checking all these things, finance, evidences of English and everything. Acceptable gaps. Now, I need to discuss this thing also, very important thing. Acceptable gap between 2 courses, maybe 2 months in the calendar year, or 4 months out of calendar year. Now, calendar year in Australia is basically February to November. From December to February, these 3 months, almost 2.5 months, is Christmas holiday. So again here, this visa can be granted up to 6 years for a reasonable course progression. So if course progression is like LE course to direct masters, that is not acceptable. It should go from LE course to diploma and then to bachelor. Now, when we talk about GT, I already discussed this in brief before, that many applications are rejected because of GT. Now, GT is seen under four columns as per Ministerial Direction 69. First is applicant circumstances. That means that applicant's education and qualification and his intentions back home and in Australia. So if a candidate has done chartered accountant course in his country and want to do an automobile course here, that is not relevant. He need to provide a very strong link or a statement of purpose his own writing to make it eligible, like to show his genuine intention of changing his complete career line. Another thing we are looking in their home country and in Australia, availability of course. So if a candidate is trying to study accountancy or MBA or BBA in Australia, and he has same courses available in his own country, he need to provide a genuine reason why he don't want to continue or do those courses back in his own country, and why he want to immigrate to Australia to complete these courses. Other conditions or other situations which are seen is circumstances that are seen are civil unrest or any kind of insecurities in their home country, their own socio-economic conditions back home. If father is farmer and he wants his son to study and he's showing good saving amount and he wants his son to study in Australia, then he has to provide that he is financially very strong and stable. He is not giving all his savings to his son to do a study, because this creates a red line in immigration officer's mind that why is this person is investing all his saving or future money just to educate his son. Another thing is applicant's own knowledge for the course or for the study. So if he want to study a course, or if sometimes agents suggest take this course or this course, whereas applicant himself don't know anything about the course. So this is a very catching point, and this may create obstacle or may create a hindrance in his process of getting visa. Applicant must know what course he is going for, why he wants to study that, and what is the future of that course in his own country or another country. So his statement of purpose must formulate all these reasons, or he has to provide evidences, research, he has to provide links of his research to prove that he knows what he is doing. Another thing is value of course. To applicant's future. If applicant is studying or intending to take admission for a MBBS course or doctorate course, then he need to know why this course is valuable of this course. Another factor for GTE is previous immigration history, like public interest criteria, special return criteria, all these things will come here. Whether he abide to all visa conditions while his previous stay in Australia or another country. All these things are considered, and they have to declare in application also, and their police report, police clearances will be asked as well. Other relevant may attract immigration officer's attention, and he may cross-check all these things, like sometimes they provide conflicting information in the application itself. We need to check all these documents, recognize them very properly, so we don't mix anything, and it avoids any complication during the process. Like apparent inconsistencies or conflicting information, and there are a lot of other things which they provide sometimes. While proving their GT, while proving their finance, providing financial capacity or their education qualifications, a lot of things. Even sometimes their IDs are different, with different names. So in that case, they have to provide a police clearance under both names. Like sometimes they use middle name in one document and another document, like passport, they don't have middle name. Well, student visa application, that's all for student visa application, I think. That was a brief introduction for that visa application, and as we all know, Australian education is one of the top education in the world. Anybody completing Australian education can get has a better job prospect all over the world. They can do any type of job, any type of work, and they can attract a good remunerations all over the world. study here, all students can apply for a graduate visa. Now, this graduate visa allows them to stay here for 18 months. All of them can stay here 18 months. There is another stream that they can stay for more than 2 years to 4 years. That I will talk about, discuss later. First, we will discuss this graduate stream. Graduate stream, temporary graduate visa. This costs $1,895 and gives eligibility for 18 months. They can live here, study here, work here. To apply for this visa, candidate must be under 50 years and must have 500 student visa, either bridging visa A or B or any other substantive visa. If he don't have substantive visa, he cannot apply for this 485 visa. Now, Australian study requirement. Australian study requirement, in order to apply for 485 visa, they have to prove that they study for at least 92 weeks for 2 years, 16 months in 2 years before applying for 485. And this education must be completed within 6 months. Within 6 months completion of study, they can apply for this visa. And under certain circumstances, immigration minister allows them. This can be considered for 12 months if you take a permission from ministry. Course completion date is important. It cannot be extended. Like in case of research or masters after masters thesis, things have been everything is course is completed, but they don't have result in their hand. If they don't have result in their hand, they are losing their time. That is not a genuine reason. They cannot extend the date of course completion. Graduate work stream visa, anybody can apply who has done certificate, degree, diploma, trade qualification for any major study. Must have a positive skill assessment in last 3 years in any MLTSSL list for study in Australia or overseas. That shows that this occupation or candidate is in demand in Australia. So whenever we are looking for policies are amended by keeping Australian interest in mind. If Australia is getting something out of these candidates, then they are eligible to apply for these visas. They must have positive skill assessment. This positive skill assessment is for 485 visa. That means Australian study, basically. Nominated occupation must closely relate to Australian study. If candidate has completed a chartered accountant course or accounting course in his home country and he completed automotive course here, then he can only apply for automotive course for his skill occupation, because accounting course is not related to Australian study. English requirement, minimum requirement is I'll say 6 band, and any must not be 5 in any module. All modules should be more than 5 and overall should be 6. Same way PTE, all modules should be more than 36 and overall should be 50. TOEFL is also the same way. TOEFL must be IBT. That is 64 overall, 4 in listening and reading and 14 for speaking and writing. Occupation English test, that is also B grade for all 4, and then Cambridge English test proficiency, that is also 116 overall and minimum 150. Another thing is, for this 485 visa, applicant cannot change the nominated occupation. If he feels he wants to change nominated occupation, then he has to withdraw his application. So once he made the application, he cannot change the occupation. Like in IT courses have got many closely related occupations. One course can give access to 3 or 4 nominated occupation under which you can make application, a genuine application. So sometimes the candidate sees more prospect of getting an invitation in another course and he wants to change, so he cannot change. These type of things are here. must have complied to all visa conditions like student visa conditions. So these conditions will be checked at the time of new application, that he complied or he abide to all visa conditions of his previous visa conditions. Another post-study work visa is 485 is called post-study work visa. It's not a graduate stream; it's another stream. That is also 1895 cost, and change is here that this is given for 2 to 4 years stay. Allows candidate to stay for 2 to 4 years. Work and study in regional area. Must have worked and studied in regional area. And if applied after master program, the master program must be of 16 or more months. Other bridging courses will not be counted in this. Like if somebody has done a foundation course of graduate certificate of business, and then he did 1 year of master's course. So he has done only 12 months of master's course. So he is not eligible to apply for this 485. He must do 2 years of master's course in order to apply for this 485. And one good thing is these candidates can apply for second visa also, and it is costing them 745. Whereas graduate stream cannot apply for second extension or second visa. In COVID, there are some concessions applying for these applications, but they are temporary, not permanent. In this, qualification must be degree or above level. Again, same thing, date of completion cannot be extended because result is withheld or any other reason. Date of completion remains same, so your 6 months will be calculated based on your date of completion of course. Now this thing here is point tested on New Zealand stream. Sorry for this. That's all. Now, this is 189. I'm talking about these general skill migration visas. So general skill migration visas are visas which you apply after getting 485 visa and after gaining 1 year of experience in Australia. Then candidate become eligible to apply for skill migration permanent residency visas. They can apply for these visas once they have 485 visa. Nurses and some other professionals, they are not required to wait for 485 visa. They can apply directly after student. But in most of cases, we have to wait for 485, and after 485 and 1 year of experience, we have to go for another skill assessment, because 485 skill assessment for 485 visa is not considered for the general skill migration visa. I will discuss this with this as well. Some regulations are covering. So we were together with regulation 2.07 AG and other regulations just wrote here. That enables 8503, 8534. These are no further stay and no further application. They can be waived if a candidate has genuine intention to apply for 189 visa. In this case, he has to provide a statement of purpose and demonstrate his genuine intention to apply for this 189 visa. His occupation must be in MLT SSL, medium and long term skill list to become eligible for 189 visa. Another condition may be given on some visas is 8535, 8540, and these conditions we need to check whether waiver is possible or not. We need to check constraints, whether his previous visa was cancelled or not cancelled, or whether he applied for a protection visa during the period of student visa and was rejected or not. So these constraints we need to check before applying for 189 visa. Other conditions, like we discussed conditions of Schedule 2 for student visa, you remember 500.211, 500.222. Same way here also, these conditions must be checked whether the primary applicant meet all the requirements or not. One thing is very important: if a combined application is made and one candidate fails to meet one condition, it means a no for everybody. So if more candidates are there, like spouse or child, we have to check all of them. I've seen applications where children is autistic or something. So in that case, the cost of medical cost on Australian government is more. So they calculate, Australian government calculates medical cost. MOC, Medical Officer of Commonwealth, they will calculate that cost, and if the cost is more than $54,000 in that 5-year period of time, they will become ineligible for this visa. There are many other things in that which we have to check. Direction 499 of Migration Act 1958 will provide more details about these things. Invitation is also required, is a very important prospect. So, age must be under 45 and an invitation from nominating state must be there. They must have a skill assessment done by relevant external authority. So, skill assessment of 485 are not acceptable, but if skill assessment has been done for 482, 457 visa, these are employer obligation scheme visas, or 491 visa, or overseas skill assessment process, or migration skill assessment, or job ready framework, all these type of skill assessments are okay to apply for 189. You don't have to go for another skill assessment. But if the skill assessment for 485 visa, even though it is valid for 3 years, we cannot use that assessment for this application. We have to go for another assessment. Medical practitioners and solicitors, they have a very tough requirement. They need a unconditional or conditional specialist registration. So, if they can practice here with no further training or no supervision, then only they can apply for the visa. The registration is very important. If a candidate don't have registration, so this is different than skill assessment. They do have a skill assessment, positive skill assessment, but their registration in the APRA is an important aspect here. Solicitors need admission into state or supreme courts as part of their suitable skill assessment. These two candidates are tough for 189. If they study here and meanwhile they get this conditional or unconditional registration, then we can apply for their 189 visa. Now this another thing is minimum point is 65. So if a candidate has got 65 points or more, he can apply. But again, there is always a capping point, because 189 visa, there is a limited number of 189 visas. They are capped visas. So let's say 200 visas are going to be granted in coming year, 23-24. Then all these 200 candidates will decide the percentile mark. So sometimes it goes to 85, sometimes it goes to 80, sometimes it goes to 90 also. If somebody has got 65 points, even though he is eligible, he cannot apply for this visa because his pool mark is less than pass point. So pass point is 85 or 90. But you need to go more. In that case, you need to go for IELTS or something else to attract more points, like 7 each or 8 each. Other general skill migration classes are 190 or 491 visas, which we apply. 190 visa is state nominated visa, and 491 is also state nominated, but it's a regional. So in 491 they have to stay in a regional area for a period of 3 years. So they live there, work there, and they have to provide evidence that they have compiled to all conditions in the regional area before applying for a permanent residency. So this is a provisional visa, but it gives 15 points. Nominated points are 15. So if a candidate is an older age candidate, like a 40-year-old candidate, so his age points are less. In that case, he can go for 491 visa. He can apply for pathway to permanent residency later. Similarly, 190 visa is state nominated. They are obliged to stay in a state for 2 years. If they want to change the state for any genuine reason, they have to take permission from the minister. And once the permission is granted, they can change the state. This is a brief introduction of student visa and their pathway to permanent residency, how they can do. And if you guys want to ask any question, you can you can ask. From my side, I was just talking and talking. I'm sorry for that. Uh, Now I'm open. If you guys want to ask questions, we can discuss them.
Hi, can you hear me? Hello? Hi, I have a question. Yeah? So, the type column. No. My most recent visa application was rejected, and my university,
Oh, okay.
I'm a continuing student, and
Okay.
my
Oh,
phone. So yeah, my latest visa application was rejected due to some reasons, not very clear reasons, and he said, then my university told me that I will not be able to reapply again for 3 years. It didn't say anything like that on the rejection letter itself. Just want to clear that up. Okay.
well, guys, if you have any question, I'm always available. You can ask anytime.